Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah! Perfect Plex Radio! We about to go live on him. Mike Knoxxx. That's with 3 X's cause he's hardcore. Are y'all ready? We about to give y'all something special. You ready? Let's go! At the money, now you're wrong, what you getting in? Perfect Plex Radio, got them listening. Mike Knoxxx, from Cena to The Rock, or whatever wrestler is hot. News to interviews, this a one-stop shop. Matter of fact, let me give you more choices. You can call in and be the voice with the voiceless. So what you waiting on? Let's get it cracking. Let's talk wrestling, that's enough rapping. Perfect Plex Radio. Simply, we about to give y'all something special. You ready? Let's go!
And welcome everybody to a wonderful special edition of the Mike Knoxxx Show right here on Unpopular View Wrestling Entertainment, as well as the Mike Knoxxx Network by Mike Knoxxx Show, BDSR Networks. The Z is silent. We are all here today to remember Windham Rotunda, better known to most people in the wrestling world as Bray Wyatt. I fell in love with this man back when he was Husky Harris. I am a day one fan, liked every gimmick fan, and I am not alone in this, people. Please, at this point, please make sure you guys like, follow, and share. Subscribe also to the program, to the show right now. And we'd like you to have your comments below and let us know your thoughts on Bray Wyatt's passing, his greatest moments, all the hoopla to be hoopla in the world of professional wrestling, and all the greatness that took place just 24 hours ago as AEW broke world records at paid attendance in the building in London, England, Wembley Stadium. Could not be remiss without having just that hurricane that's over Florida right now be over the wrestling business, as we lost someone at a very young age. We will have our comments, and I will always like to say this as well. The comments and say that those belonging on the program belong to said individual and does not represent everybody a part of Unpopular Review or the Mike Knoxxx Show. Again, you can follow me on Twitter, social media, wherever social media is, which is my namesake. I am loud, I speak loud, but today I hold it all in for Mr. Mr. Windham, as he was named after, Barry Windham Rotunda. And again, as always, I am joined by Big Tips in the chat. The Alphas and the Omegas are back again, as we were here yesterday talking AEW, and now we're going to give our love for Bray Wyatt. The Z is never silent, but today, let him speak this mind. What's going on, Z?
Today we mourn because he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world. Y'all know it. Your boy, the almighty two-man ego trip is here. Alpha and Omega, Thanos and Darkseid. Anybody come for us, you better make sure we send for you. But today is about a celebration of this great man. Great man. If you want to talk in the past 10 years, if we're talking the past 10 years of WWE or professional wrestling as a whole, I think there's guys that's synonymous with pro wrestling and moving the needle and moving the industry. And Bray Wyatt has to be in the top 5. I don't give a good dog damn who you talk about. We could talk about AJ. We could talk about Roman. We could talk about Seth. We could talk about Brock. We could talk about Bray. That would be my 5 immediately off top of my head. But if you want to talk about the past 10 years, who's moved this needle of professional wrestling to keep us interested, I would say those 5 guys off the top of my head.
I say Bray Wyatt in a different light, pushing that needle, being that maybe, just maybe, the company didn't always see the best in what he had in mind. And sometimes I always say that's why you have the company and you have the great creator, that you have to put the two minds together and give us something gold. And even when something is not as great as, say, Goldust, or maybe not understand like Stardust, you have to understand the layers that was Bray Wyatt and the story in which he was originally trying to tell. This goes back to FCW days, okay, when this gimmick first began and first started. And Dice, I was like you. I was remiss and sad. We were sitting there as we do this time of year, getting our Madden football in. I got a phone call from the executive consultant who may be joining us a little bit later in the program. And as the bad news we got on 8/24 years ago, we got it again this weekend. And it was like Kobe Bryant all over again. That's how stunning the news was, because there was rumors of everything in the world. Hashtag still death to dirt sheets, no pun intended. But it was, he's never coming back. He's leaving, to now all of a sudden he was on his way back into the WWE. It has been said, Mr. Rapp from the Stand Report, had permission to say that he had on good authority that he was on his way back with the return, and that came down with COVID. And I say this is why I always say before the program, the thoughts and opinions that said people and individuals do not belong to everybody on the show, and said belong to them, because sometimes the show.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Never took a vaccine. I will never take a vaccine. I personally think the vaccine is doing more harm to Americans than it has been. It's just odd for me to see another young person die who has no history of drug addicts, maybe a little alcoholism I've heard, but not a drug addict. Okay, to die this young of a heart attack. As soon as I heard about Bronny, and I know now they're coming out, and LeBron James's son had a cardiac arrest, and now they're trying to say, oh, he was born with a heart defect. Oh, now you know this. You didn't know this before. No, that's to me what I always believe in media, and that's the cover-up. I do not believe in the vaccine. Tiny Zeus Liston is on that list. Zeus for the wrestling fans that are out there. Debo for those who don't know. This vaccine, and I have family and I have friends that took this vaccine, and Lord knows for once, I hope I am 100% wrong. It's just my thoughts and my opinions that I am sharing. But we did lose a great one this past week, Dice. Take a moment, if you will, Dice Man, and let's just go back to not too long ago.
I never thought of this would happen. Being me, genuine me for the first time. I lost my career. I love you too. I lost two people who were very, very close to me. Nothing I ever did has mattered to anyone. I was wrong. Stuff like that. Thank you. You all saved my life.
Not too long ago, Almighty, when we got that moment, your thoughts on Windham Rotunda.
You know what? And it's crazy because it literally is the same week that we lost Kobe Bryant, and then we lost Chadwick Boseman. We lost the Black Panther, literally days apart from each other. And now this week is going to be remembered as a really terrible week for entertainment. And this year in general, I can't remember a year where so many pro wrestlers have passed. And it was literally every month. And I just want to share this and take a look at this. This is the pro wrestling deaths this year. And we're just barely over half the year. We got four months left.
Yeah.
That's a sad list. And for Bray to be on that list at 36 years old, I am the same age. I am a black man who drinks and smokes. And
cigarettes.
That man passed. Cigarettes. Gotta call me out like that.
No, my bad.
However, at least I didn't say I'm out here on crystal meth. But
listen, I'm far from you, but I'd have had to come smack you somehow if you was on some crystal meth. Word to mother.
I will say that I was not coming across Bray Wyatt in the later stages of the popularity of NXT. I was not on the NXT train initially. However, he was one of the reasons why I would tune into NXT, because I needed to see what he was talking about. His promos, his mic work were ahead of the rest. It was very clear that it was ahead of the rest. And I don't know if you heard the story, but it was when the Nexus was feuding with the main roster, and Orton was still in the punt kick stage, and they were writing Husky Harris off, and he punted Husky Harris, and the story goes, as he walked backstage, he shook Vince McMahon's hands, and Vince said, "Thank you." He said, "You'll see me again." And 18 months later, we got Bray Wyatt. I thought that he bet on himself. And I think that's the one thing that he should always be remembered as, is betting on himself, whether it's creatively, whether it's his mic work, whether it's ring work, because we've seen things from Bray that we haven't seen particularly from any other person. And in this day of age where it's the reality wrestling era, where things like The Undertaker, in which the Ministry of Darkness, would that work today? You know what I'm saying? People would laugh at it. The comic book style of stuff, it probably wouldn't work as great as it would have in the mid to late 90s. However, Bray took this and he made gold out of it. The whole Wyatt family, that was amazing. Let's not even forget, we got a piece of the broken universe because of Bray Wyatt and his friendship with Matt Hardy. We got the Ultimate Deletion, which wasn't as good as what they had done in TNA, but you combine those two minds who thought outside of the box at that point in their career, especially Matt Hardy. So shout out to him, because he definitely thought way outside the box for his career, where it was already, he had went over the hill, he's going back over it, and he actually reinvented himself and made himself a hot commodity, right? And he brought Bray along for the ride. I mean, that's
that was your, like you did the AEW. You had to put. I hated that entire.
They became the leader of worlds, and I
get it. That was great. It was. What you're saying was good. It was just the Matt Hardy part. Give me version 1 over any Matt Hardy version ever. Okay, hits my gamer tags V1. Okay, Matt Hardy version 1, but definitely Bray. As you mentioned, the creativeness, right, and betting on himself, because you can take any iteration, right? I don't know if you guys know, and I did not know that story, by the way, okay? But I do know that it's very important to shake the hands of the masses, you know what I mean? And things like that. So him betting on himself, the Cody thing, that's the thing in wrestling, and that's what we know that entertainers do. A lot of people who have made it because they left everything else behind to do it. That's truly giving it all up for your dream. And I'm not saying that I thought Husky Harris would get over, but I was just saying about the Mack truck with the Ferrari engine that I thought was great. And even then, when I saw that running off the ropes backwards elbow, I was just in love with his character. And again, I am a fan of Mike Rotunda. I am a fan of Barry Windham. Okay, his name comes from Mike Rotunda's best friend, Barry Windham, who you know very well. I put him in my all-time. He fell out my top 10 as the years have gone on, but he's still in my top 15 as my favorite wrestler, one of my favorite wrestlers in Barry Windham. And I just liked his father and the Varsity Club and things like that. Obviously, IRS, what he's best known for in WWE. I thought he's done his best work in AWA and other promotions, but Bray took another gimmick that Vince has wanted to do for a long time, an 80s gimmick movie, Cape Fear, and that's where the Bray Wyatt character comes from. And I just never thought they got the due that they really deserve for how great they were.
His Wyatt family, all 3 members have been eliminated by Brock Lesnar. Harper in after Lesnar, and now Rowan, and now Strowman. And remember, there's no out of the ring. They've already been eliminated. Strowman eliminated. Go and run, Bray. Suplex set. Now Sister Abigail to Brock Lesnar. With 3 members of the Wyatt family, Lesnar's eliminated. Oh my God!
I'm gonna let you live to see another day.
And we will never know, or we do not know that conversation. Speculating all what it was. But again, that's creative of him having the heart to want to come do it again after, in my opinion, he was failed by Vince McMahon in his creation. And I know people say, well, how did Vince fail him? I just felt that he just never let him get. There's a level of where WWE will listen to the fans, but just to a tip of listening to the fans. They will never all the way hear what fans have to say. And sometimes, as to AEW, it can be a detriment, I think, with WWE and other promotions, not just detriment to them, but, AEW, but other commercial promotions. WWE, if they would just let Bray take that extra step. Okay, he won the world title, the WWE title. He won Universal Championship, but none of his runs were ever memorable, right? He had all these great builds, and a lot of the matches just did not quite deliver. One of my all-time favorite moments is when Randy Orton burnt down the compound. That rivalry was supposed to be so epic, so great. I was at that WrestleMania, and it just didn't live up to the hype. But we loved everything about it up to that point. But that moment when Taker, that Raw 30 Taker, and I was putting in the comments earlier about only one person could have picked up the mantle for Undertaker, in my opinion, other than Kane, would have been someone like Bray Wyatt. Some of your best moments.
Well, I wanted, as I'm still looking at things here, and you mentioned it, I'm not gonna lie. This iteration of the Wyatt family, not in the sense of the family, the story.
Mm-hmm.
The story was probably one of the best stories I've seen that Bray and Orton were a part of, because Orton infiltrated the Wyatt family, and I thought it was genius. However, the payoff, some people didn't like that match with the bugs and
it was so not good. I don't think I've ever went back and watched it on TV.
It was one of those matches where it needed to be dark, and it wasn't. The stadium wasn't completely
The stadium
dark.
ruined it. Okay,
it's like Triple H and Sting at Mania.
That was horrible.
Sting's entrance doesn't hit the same because it's still light outside. So it's some matches where I don't think that you put a Kane, a Taker, a Bray. You don't put guys like that who thrive in the darkness early in the show, where, you know what I'm saying? Like it's still light outside. But I will say, do you also remember the showdown that we got between one of our we actually liked this group to a point, the League of Nations and the Wyatt. That was a nice little feud. We got the Wyatts and the Shield as well. We got Wyatts.
That's probably the all-time best moment for me from the Wyatt family, is that moment, because it's in that time you just looked at what they were doing with the Shield, and you're like, listen, this is everything we want to be in professional wrestling right now. This is everything. Right. And you're looking at this, and you're like, and then when they let the Wyatts win, like, huh? Like, again, I know I just said they didn't let them, like, okay, I see they got, if I'm not correct, they did get that victory.
Yes.
Okay, but they didn't go nowhere from that. Like, you beat the Shield and nothing produces from that moment. It just broke my heart a little bit.
I will say that even though Orton being in the family was my favorite iteration of the Wyatt family, this has to be the most dominant iteration of the Wyatt family. The introduction of Braun Strowman. Like, we never seen somebody like Braun Strowman before. I mean, he just looked like he was big and stinking.
Well, Big Show without the gut.
He was big and stinking. That boy, like, he was ready to go. He looked like he came from the swamp. He definitely looked like he came from the swamp. And so, because I want to shine light more so on the Wyatt family right now at this point, even though this show is all about Bray, I want to give his flowers to his creation of the Wyatt family before we actually get into Bray Wyatt, the man himself, and his career, giving and also the when he had Daniel Bryan in the Wyatt family. He made him wear the coveralls.
That's one of my favorite moments in there, as me being a Daniel Bryan mark, watching that, and just again, we can, as wrestling fans, it's easy to, I got the word botch. Oh, there's so many botches in that match. Can you do it?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You know, so that kind of thing. But I remember that storyline delivered. It delivered. When I think of wrestling going back in my days to everything that's going to happen in life for me in wrestling, it's not the winner of the matches I'm going to remember. It's going to be the storylines that I remember in wrestling. That's what you remember. When people remember Sting, they remember him in the bleachers, in the rafters, rather.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They remember HH, Terry Bollea, body slamming Andre the Giant.
Forever,
you know what I mean?
history.
You're going to remember Bray Wyatt's moments. You're going to remember them. They're just, it's undeniable that they're going to be there.
And when you look back, and like I said, the best window to go off of is you can go from 5 to 10 years. I would say 7 max, right? There's a lot of Bray Wyatt in 7 years of WWE. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of moments that, like I said yesterday on the show with EC, I completely forgot that there was a triple threat between Wyatt, Cena, and AJ Styles, and I had to go back and watch it. It was an absolute banger of a match. Mm-hmm. And I completely forgot about it because when we take in so much wrestling on a weekly basis, we talk wrestling, we play wrestling games, we watch it all the time, we talk it all the time, we do weekly shows. It is very easy to forget matches. Like we watch, you think all the wrestling that's on TV weekly, right, there's at least 15 to 20 hours of wrestling to digest, right? And on top of sports, and on top of your favorite shows or sitcoms that you want. There's a lot to take in, right? But the time of Bray Wyatt and his creativity, I think, in a sense, has been taken a little bit for granted.
Absolutely. I think with movies and anything else, people wanted their way right away. Guess what, y'all? Burger King didn't sell grilled chickens any longer. So they stopped making it your way right away. Okay? The wrestling community is not your way right away. It's a slow build. It still remembers when Riot Family versus the Brothers of Destruction at Survivor.
See, again, I completely forgot about that. I gotta go back and watch that on Peacock because I've been watching Best of Bray Wyatt for the past day and a half.
Phil, why not a Bray Wyatt fan? The character? Because as I said earlier, there's not a moment in Bray's career from Husky Harris, from Tough Enough, from FCW that I could not enjoy this guy.
Bray Wyatt with a headbutt. Rampant crowd here tonight. Can't wait for the AA. It's Luke Harper. WWE, you need to get him just for this crowd tonight because his Cena run over by Rowan was just a collision. And Harper is shot.
We're here.
Oh my God, look at the Wyatt members attacking Kane.
Chills, straight chills, bro. Like, damn, I just remember like the vignettes of them in an old barn with the rocking chair, and I distinctly remember watching Raw, waiting to see the vignettes, and I would just go ape shit,
wanting to know who the hell who was Sister Abigail.
It was him. Remember, he had put the wig on. It was him. I just remember like all I wanted to hear is Louisiana. We're here. Run. That's it. I just want to hear that. Where's my guy? Who could rock a fedora like him? Come on now.
See, and I forget you're such an NWA guy. And I've always been a wrestling fan, but number one for me has always been WWE because I'm into cartoons, not comic books. People were into comic books. All right. So to me, like boom, which by the way, Phil, I still got your Crisis on Infinite Earth hardback copy sitting right down here on my stand right now, just in case you're wondering. Made my son read it, but this was my cartoon stuff. This to me is professional wrestling. This is what took to the masses. This is what made Glow and things like that very, very interesting. Dice, as we remember Bray Wyatt, the Wyatt family, and just some of the things that they did in their time. This moment with The Rock, like it stood out. Like, damn! Now that I look back at, maybe they did give him everything to get over. Am I wrong in that?
No, I believe they did give him the tools, but it's like my comparison, and I used this analogy before, right? Like ECW, they had a champion, world champion. Granted, it's the third level champion, but at the point in time, you got Cena on Raw, Batista on SmackDown, arguably two of the biggest sellers that goes on trailers and merchandise and brochures. You can't take the belt off of one of them for Kane or Christian or Johnny Morrison. Like, you can't do it. So the best thing that you can do is acknowledge them. And I believe at that point in time, who we have is Seth, who's on fire, right? You got Seth that's on fire. Cena's still doing his thing. Roman's still doing his thing, and clearly at that point in time, Roman is the guy that they're trying to push. Bray's kind of lost in the shuffle. He's like that. You got 1A, 1B, and then he's like the 1C. He's popular, but can you put that on your brochures? Can you sell that to your stock? Can you sell that to your stockholders?
No, not really.
This incarnation is literally the machine versus the people. That in that photo, what you're looking at right there is the machine versus the people. However, this is not the same machine that is behind Roman Reigns. However, this is the Roman Reigns that we got at the right time that we didn't know that we needed. However, he also coincided with a Bray Wyatt who upped his character times 20. And immediately, me and you immediately saw this Firefly Funhouse and said, genius.
First time we watched it, that Raw, and we're just listening. We're in a party. People are complaining. Obviously, we're in our different social networking, that whatever, but still crosses the same path to the wrestling world. And I don't think we saw a positive tweet, a positive accent, or whatever you want to call it, comment. All we heard was, "Oh, here go WWE. They're burying Bray Wyatt." Was even a word. Another term I hate in professional wrestling. They're burying Bray Wyatt. This burying Bray Wyatt, and I love when you said, we'll go back to that picture for 1 second. When you said the machine versus the people, earlier I said there are certain times when you got to give the people what they want, right? I can only name 2 times in WWE history they gave the people what they wanted. Little Foley's baby boy and Mick Foley. And to me, arguably, another top 10 of all time in WWE's book, in my opinion, again, and Daniel Bryan. In the Occupy, Wall Street, Occupy Wall. The wrestling fans wanted it. The wrestling fans got it. Wrestling fans wanted Bray, but for whatever reason, they just didn't see it. I don't know, in him. Again, maybe as I look back again, I say they gave him so many opportunities. What was it that didn't click with something this great?
New Orleans. We're here. We're sharing something right now, but in our dreams, we're superheroes. We dream of revenge. We dream of payback. That's when we go to the mirror, we look in it, and we remember that we are not superheroes. But everything is wrong. I used to have this mean old teacher Believe that everything she read in a book was true. What
teacher
is it
was important.
about you that makes you think that you're so much better than me? Is it because your mommy and daddy paid for you to go to some fancy school? She said, Bray Wyatt, the first time that I ever looked inside of your eyes, I knew that you were evil. Teacher lady is rotting inside of some retirement home filled up with all of her life's regrets. Teacher lady, look at me right now. I got the whole damn world in my hands. That is my payback. This fairy tale is going to end. I will be the last man standing. Well, I promise no one will ever stand again.
Chills.
Jay, what does Jay-Z say? We see what happens after I no longer exist.
Yep.
I see Bray Wyatt going down as one of the all-time greatest minds in professional wrestling, along with people like Skandar Akbar, along with people like Paul Heyman, of course, Vince McMahon, Jim Cornette, for what it's worth.
I would put Eric Bischoff there.
Eric Bischoff, thank you. Vince Russo.
For a smidget. For a smidget.
Wingard.
I can't stand Vince Russo, so I'm not giving him a whole bunch of. Vince Russo is still living in the mid-90s, and I'm
hey! I still live in the mid-90s.
Yeah, he lives in the mid-90s for 2 months. He keeps. When I was writing for WWF, I didn't care, bro.
I do just tip my foot. No, my foot actually stays in the water, actually 2 feet, but I know how to come out and breathe.
I wanna address something. Okay, Eric. Eric, what you just said, I definitely want to reiterate on. But what Jeffrey said here, people don't use the word bury right; they overuse it. Mm-hmm. It is very possible to put over somebody, even if you beat them.
Yeah.
Right. And my analogy in this is the first time we watched AI cross up Jordan. Right. It was AI's time.
Yeah.
They still lost the game, but you knew AI was there, and it did nothing to it. It did nothing to hurt the popularity of Allen Iverson.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing could be said with anybody who faced the Undertaker in the back half of his streak, right? You can go to Edge, you can go to Punk, you can go to HBK twice. Nobody ever said those guys were buried by, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody said it.
I do think
going against Cena at that Mania. I absolutely agree, Eric. As most fans think, if Cena was on his back 9, they should have passed that torch. We are still believers that the streak should have been passed. If you're going to end the streak, it should have been Brock. It should have been Bray, so he can pass on as the new face of fear.
I've always said it should have been Brock for my personal story, but I get the Bray thing.
The Brock thing makes sense. He was built.
It had to be somebody who could take it. It had to be somebody who could take the heat and come back from it. The thing with Cena here that I think is important that he mentioned. I'm going to cut you off. I'm sorry. I just hit this real fast.
Good. No, you good. Go ahead.
Okay.
That's what we do.
I'm a Cena fan.
Yeah. So, in your opinion, did he bury him that first night?
No, I don't think that buries people for losing. What I think it is, and again,
that's my point. Like a loss doesn't do anything.
Yeah. I don't know, but I will say this as a wrestling fan. Again, that church mentality. I'm 1 foot in with the fans, 1 foot out understanding creative. I got to say it, right? I think it would have helped them more than it didn't do. The same way as for Rusev, I said that I will always stand on that. Rusev. You cannot. I get it's America versus Russia, and America supposed to win.
You know they always want to win.
Guess what, though? This isn't 1983 in the Cold War. This is not Rocky IV, right? Again, today I'm in a party today on Xbox, and the guy, the whole thing is pause. I say, I'm sorry, dog. How old are you? He said, I'm 24. I said, why are you pausing? I say, ain't y'all the friend to the game? So what you pausing? I said, in my day, you put a DMX album. Every F word that wasn't fuck was being said. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So what do you mean pause? No, so it can help and it can hinder. It just depends. And I think he would have benefited more than losing. And I think he, being Rusev, would have benefited more than losing from Cena. The question is, whose call was that? Is that one of them calls that they listened to Cena over Jericho and Edge? Or did he say give him that match? Did he say wait, or is that a creative decision? Like somebody say, creative still held him back.
Somebody, I seen this. I seen the story with Edge saying that they wanted Edge to end the Taker streak, and he vehemently said no. It does nothing for me. And
which point in Edge's career, though?
Huh?
Which point in Edge's career?
I think when he was really hot as the Ultimate Opportunist, like it was nothing you could do to stop Edge. It was Edge at the top of SmackDown. It was Edge, Batista, and Taker. Them three was just going for the belt every other month. You know what I'm saying? It was
at
it
that
was in
point
that
in
area.
Time.
But
even when
but the way Edge was winning the matches, it's no way that you would even need to. And thank goodness that
one more other person. I've always thought Legend Killer could have ended it.
Probably, but it was
Legend Killer, and then his killer Legend got killed after losing the Taker.
It was so early in that Legend Killer phase, though. It was like
it made the most sense, though. Legend Killer,
but at that same time, when you talk about Legend Killer and Orton, like Orton is just really getting hot. He's just getting steaming hot, and this is the point in time where everybody's realizing, hey, hold up, Taker ain't been defeated at Mania. So now the streak is actually
important.
Now the streak is important. But yes, Vaughn, I wanted to reiterate on this. Look at those past five, some of those notable 5 opponents that had to go against the streak, right? And if they couldn't do it, why should Bray be able to do it?
Kane was in
some
there,
of those guys.
Kane went a few times.
Kane was in there twice, I believe.
Okay,
twice.
I know the most is Triple H, which makes sense.
Triple H was in there twice.
Mark Henry's in there twice.
Yep. And I also wanted to go off of this was great. Yeah, this was great. And I wanted to say that because I did have a picture for you guys. And I asked what was the greatest thing that we got from
go back to that one more page for me, please.
Hold on, I'm gonna get to that. To that. This is the birth of the Roman that we wanted in the era. Don't say that. It is.
I'm sorry. I've always wanted Roman how he was.
How he is then, now, and
forever. I was for all of it.
You wanted the guy who said,
all of it. Believe
I'm
that.
Not a good guy.
Believe that. I'm just the guy. I'm the guy.
That guy. You wanted the guy that Baron Corbin was feeding dog food to.
All of it. Every Roman phase, I've been the front of the line. Like if Beyonce came right now, I'm the biggest heterosexual black male Beyonce fan in the world. I'm the biggest Roman Reigns male fan there is. I don't give a what you say. I don't give a good hot dog damn. Okay. Every Roman is great, but go ahead. You're right in what you're saying, though.
This was, I mean, in like literally, this is like the back half of that pandemic, like maybe halfway through that pandemic era was kind of getting a little boring, you know, and they gave us a shot in the arm to invigorate us. We get a Roman that's unexpectedly coming back. He smashes through both of these guys, and he tells Bray he's coming for his title.
Everyone in
this image.
Listen, cinematic matches would have made his career the greatest career. I do that a lot. I do that a lot.
You do that enough.
Okay, I'm realizing that. Okay, but Taker, Bray, Sting, Kane. Maybe Mick Foley, Mankind. That's it. Those guys can have Darby Allin, throw him in there because his character lends him to that way, right? And as well as not the Dark Order because they just trash. Come on, help me out. They just lost their Triple A titles, triple tag team titles.
House of Black.
House of Black. Those are the only names in wrestling that can do cinematic matches, and I think they're believable and will always work. That's why Taker can always come back to me.
Papa Shango?
Papa Shango, for what it's worth, I'm sorry.
Or the Boogeyman. The Boogeyman probably could have tried.
I don't. They're not good enough to be in that category. That's all I'm saying. And respect to the Godfather, friend of the program. I'm sorry, Papa Shango was not popping. I saw the man give Terry Bollea a heart attack on
the
Saturday morning challenge
because it was time to get on up.
Listen, it wasn't nothing like pimping ain't easy, man. But we're talking about Bray Wyatt here, and just the moments. Like this to me was a moment. That's what I was getting to.
And this is a forgotten. This cinematic match was really, really.
It was forgotten until you pop it up. I say, "Oh, damn, that was hot."
This match, because the story between Bray and Braun is like teacher and pupil, and he's like, "Come on home." Come home. Let me take you back to where it all started. Let me take you back to where we began. And I thought it was great. Like, and again, we talked about the pandemic era before, and the best thing about the pandemic era is no crowds. We can hear everything. We can hear the dialogue between the wrestlers, and that made for entertaining wrestling at that point in time, because it was really weird just to hear bodies hitting the mat. But to hear somebody like Bray talking, to hear somebody like Roman talking, it made for a better match in a time where we didn't have crowd noise. But
hey guys, make sure you come back and check us out this week on Pop Review Entertainment, on Pop Review Entertainment this week. Tomorrow we got back into our franchises, to Saw movies. If you're a Saw fan, some people don't like it, Saw, some people do. Come out, talk about Saw. Comment below, let us know what you think about it. Also, this Thursday we start our Jim Carrey Appreciation Month, as he's retired from entertainment now. And his movies, we got that movies coming up as well. I think this time might be the last one. I think it's already been filmed, I believe. I'm not exactly sure. Don't quote me on that. But make sure you guys come back and check out other shows we have on this network tonight. The wrestling show will be live doing Raw at about 9 o'clock. Tomorrow, NXT review. Wednesday, AEW Dynamite, 50 minutes of Fury review. Thursday, and every Thursday, either top 5 or predictions. We got that coming up for you this week as well.
I think we're combining.
There's going to be a double prediction show. Hold on, predictions and top 5 being
no.
Okay, double predictions. Two pay-per-views, right. So Mike Knoxxx Show will not be here next Monday. As you guys know how I operate, there's a pay-per-view on Saturday. So we will have a review show Sunday morning. And then probably we'll talk about AEW the following Friday or whatever. One of the other two shows.
To jump off what you're saying, everybody in the chat, make sure you go and follow Zia Solid, because I'm giving you 50 minutes of Fury. It's not long. We starting at 10:10, pretty sharp. We have you out here by 11. We talk AEW, get you in, out, just like a nice wet dream. Get it done. Now I'm talking about.
First of all,
don't ask
did
me
I not say the NXT show? I don't have
you
to.
You
try.
did. I needed a graphic. I'm trying to do cheap plugs right now.
Okay.
I'm doing cheap plugs
That's fine.
right now.
I do my cheap
Plus,
plugs
I want to
with my vocabulary because I am that damn good. Understand what I'm saying to you there, bad guy Jack? You want to be Virgo Leo? Pick a month. You're there. You're both of them. You're a Leo Virgo. Hey, that's actually two great people together. I love Leos and
Mr.
Virgo.
Bowser himself. Peaches.
Jack Black's favorite movie. My favorite movie of Jack Black is going to shock everybody. Orange County. Loved it. Moving forward. Before we get ready to get up out of here. Go ahead.
I wanted to go through a head scratching moment in which infuriated everybody.
Oh, did it really?
Did this not infuriate you? Not infuriate you?
I know it infuriated Jack because he hates it back up.
In what perfect world? I don't even care if this. In what perfect world, as strong as Bray was, does it require you to bring in Oldberg to defeat the Fiend? And it was what he hit him with like 5-6 spears in like 2 minutes. It was done. Like that was.
This is where I've said, as this is the show for the intelligent wrestling fan, that you have to know what's for you and what's not for you. I believe that was one of Saudi's first shows. They paid for Goldberg. They didn't pay for the fee. It's really that simple. It's that simple. That show wasn't for us. They are starting to kind of be for us now that they want to kind of copy AEW now. And the whole, or AEW's covered them in the whole European market and things like that. But completely bad booking. This was absolutely. But I tell you, Bray Wyatt, again, I can't say it enough, just the moments with him. The Tampa Bay moment where he comes back again against Orton at WrestleMania with Alexa Bliss, and that whole build-up that was kind of disappointing because we didn't get the finish of it, because after whatever happened backstage, whether it was health-orientated or it was the death of Brody Lee, whatever the case may be, Bray stepped away. And I think that every single time he was right there on the pinnacle, the cusp of being a superstar, something derailed him.
Sister Abigail. God, Bray Wyatt just told Luke Harper to get. Bray Wyatt does not want to be. What the hell? Bray Wyatt beats Randy Orton at No Mercy. That's a reunion. Yeah. Bray Wyatt is here. Wyatt is on Raw. The Fiend.
Wicked feeling in the air tonight. Can you feel it?
Love Bray Wyatt. Have always been a fan of Windham Rotunda. I do mean this. Friday night, the only wrestler that I ever shed tears over was Dusty Rhodes when he passed away. Never met the man, but he meant that much to me as my love for professional wrestling. Was shocking to hear the Warrior passed away the day after he made his speech on Raw. Hearing Bray Wyatt pass away to me was just that shocking. Like I said, with Kobe Bryant's death, it just, no pun intended, like an RKO came out of nowhere. And initially, my first thoughts was the worst. Like, please don't tell me he committed suicide. And then you come to find out that he had a heart attack. But I will never forget moments like this. Bray Wyatt and like you said, the Fiery Funhouse. Like, people hated this cinematic match with Cena. And I sat here and laughed so hard at just how funny that it was and what the meaning of it was and what it meant to Cena, to his character and all of it. And then the things with him and Alexa Bliss to me will forever just be amazing in professional wrestling. We never got the finished payoff, but that's okay. They're still making Fast and Furious movies. So, Dice, your final thoughts on Bray Wyatt, Mr. Windham Rotunda.
That's a beautiful, beautiful woman. I will have to reiterate with you that if we talk about the man Bray Wyatt, right? Like this is one of my favorite Bray Wyatt memories because it dove into the creative mind, the mastermind that is William Rotunda. And like, I don't know how many people that actually paid attention to it, but maybe you should go back or maybe you should Google articles that dissect this match because it attacks everything we in the IWC love and hate about professional wrestling and the way that they book and the way that we view things as opposed to the way the wrestlers and their creativity want to come off to the audience. It's everything that we wanted. Why did Cena never turn heel? Embrace it, bite the apple, take the temptation. He's telling you, because this is everything that we've been telling the WWE for a better part of 10 to 15 years. And Bray told y'all, and he demonstrated on screen for y'all at Mania, and y'all just shitted on it because you didn't understand.
I'm sorry. It's
People
like
fear what they don't understand.
It's like
hate
watching
what
a
they
father
can't conquer.
It's like watching a father
the fury of
become
man.
the
That's
child
what
become
Nas
the phoenix.
said.
You
That's
just
what
became
Nas
that was the most
said.
intelligent thing on the most intelligent wrestling show you've ever said, to put it in that. Damn it, Dice. Drop them. Jesus. I mean,
oh my God.
Absolutely amazing. Listen, guys, at this point in the program, if you're still here, if you've been here this long, you've been here before, please go ahead and like, follow, and subscribe to the Mike Knoxxx Show, to Unpopular Review, to the Z is Silent podcast, as this is an Unpopular Review joint combined rendition of the Mike Knoxxx Show, remembering Bray Wyatt and some of the great things that he has done. Wyatt versus the Shields, we talked about. Undertaker stare down. Like, those moments to me,
feet to the fire right
will
now.
Always. Even was it the 5-on-5 traditional match? Was it SmackDown versus Raw? Like him finally winning the title, the belt. Shout out to my wrestling belt community who who has that shout out to Mo _ Eaton, the belt emperor, one of the emperors himself that has that Bray Wyatt belt and the jacket. Listen, guys, our time is short. Final thoughts, like, so we get up out of here.
Feet to the fire right now. Number one top Bray Wyatt moment.
I don't know if does it count as his moment, but is it both his storylines? I'm still going to say Orton burning down the house.
Ooh.
That to me, nothing. And again, that's similar. It's to me, it's symbolic of Orton being, with his pose in front of the house. But that storyline landed Orton that moment. So maybe taking away from that, it would be them beating the Shield.
I would say, and it's a tie. It would have to be the debut of The Fiend. Just the way the production did everything after Balor celebrating, the lights go out, and they made it super believable, right? As I rewatched it, I'm like, I can't believe. Like I remember we were hook, line, and sinker the minute the lights popped. They popped off. They sounded like a malfunction. It was like, wait, what's going on? And then as you hear the music, I'm like, yo, something's up. And then Bray's there. You got the strobe light whites. You can barely see him, but you see it's him. It's a silhouette of him. He's got Balor, and we got a character that will forever be etched in history. The birth of a character to be forever etched in history, and it's probably one of the greatest. I guess if you want to call him a mythical character or whatever, evil. Probably one of the most top 3, top 5 evil characters ever. In the history of professional wrestling. And then I would say it's tied with the Orton Fiend feud through the pandemic era and capping off at Mania. The ending wasn't the ending that we wanted. However, I love the incarnation of the fireball with Alexa Bliss, how he infiltrated her mind, played mind games with Orton. How she came in a giant jacket of box.
Yeah, he burned them away. Yeah.
It was genius. So those are my favorite Bray Wyatt memories. I'm still watching Best of Bray Wyatt stuff on Peacock right now. So I'm gonna still continue to keep that going. But I hope that people in WWE and AEW and Impact continue to thrive. And I hope that they also keep his name alive, just as though they've done Brody Lee, just as they've done Jay Briscoe, just as they've done anybody else that they've worked with, and not just who they work with, but the legends. And let's not forget people that have brought a lot of entertainment to us as fans and viewers. But if this rumor is true, and we talked about this, if Roman did, a lot of people were giving Roman flack because he didn't show up on SmackDown. But the rumor is that he drove to Bray's house and gave him the Universal Championship because one, Bray debuted it and he got it off of Bray, so he gave it to his wife and to his family. If that's true, that's a beautiful gesture by Roman Reigns, and he deserves nothing but applause. But that's just hearsay, so we don't know. But I'm going to go for as if it is fact.
There it is. Well, again, guys, also this past week, as they say, deaths happens in threes. Started off with Terry Funk, then we lost Mr. Windham Rotunda, Bray Wyatt, and then also another Hall of Famer of WWE, Price is Right's Bob Barker, passed away. So, guys, I know you've seen it. We have nothing in here. I played it, but so let's just, as we end this show, and I will always say, do not wake up tomorrow morning and say to yourself, I love me some me, and you don't love the man upstairs. That's crazy. Hey, let's go ahead and give our own unpop review. 10 bell salute to the great Bray Wyatt as we remember him and give our energy and love to his family and his children as they're needed in this moment of time.
Follow the buzzards.
Peace.